Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Scientist Reverse Grid League here at the Circuit of the Americas here in the US&A. As you can see, we have some beautiful rain coming down for all these bastards who want to conquer that track. I think we have around 14 laps ahead of us in the rain. The sky doesn't look too grey. Maybe we'll have some rain and it will clear up at the end of the race, but maybe we'll just have rain for the whole race. Let's see how the drivers will adapt to the circumstances. We have a few seconds left until we are on the grid for our formation lap here at USA. Right now we are on board with Ticunia, who's starting on pole position. Gonna change the camera angle, of course. As you can see here now, we will have the full track map on, so you can follow your favorite driver and the action all over the track if we are not on it with the camera. We also keep a look at the telemetry because we want to see how much ERS is left with the boys. We're also going to take a look at position changes, of course, pit stops, the tires, and the penalties, of course, where everyone is on inters because it's raining, but not raining too heavy. That means there's no other choice than the intermediate tire, and that's about it. What we take a look on, we change between tire selections only if the weather changes, but we'll have a closer look at penalties. The S's in sector 1 are a huge factor around here when it comes to down to grip, when it comes to position changes, and of course penalties. So it will be crucial to keep that car on track, to avoid crashes, to avoid damage, and of course to avoid penalties. And we also take a look at position changes because that grid is pretty full tonight. We have 15 drivers on. Ticunia starting on pole, his teammate Eskimo starting in P2, followed by both Ferraris and Moshe and Yor. Then Spooner in P5, Waterby in the Alpine P6, Castor in the Red Bull P7, Rolls in P8, Rob P9, followed by Euphonibot, Corleone, Chappie, Scientist, Chapati, and Jane. Tonight we also have a few reserves in. Chapati in the McLaren is a reserve for tonight, Scientist in the Williams too. I also think that, if I'm not mistaken, that Spooner is also reserved for tonight. But never mind, we have 15 drivers in here, and that's pretty awesome to get some good action. We'll also take a closer look at the championship standings right now. First, we have a look at the Drivers' Championships. There we have, if my Discord is loading, we have Jaden in P1 at the moment, 295 points, followed by Walterby with 284, only 11 points behind. And as you can see, Walter starting in P6, Jaden down in P15. But don't forget Casto, he's in P3 with 258. So he's around behind these guys, and he's starting right behind Walter. When talking about the constructors, we have Alpine in P1 with 429 points, followed by AlphaTauri with 410-1. But that's not important at the moment. We're here at the start. The lights are going out and the drivers will go on their first lap. And this race, both Aston Martins in P1 and P2, and Eskimo's car is going sideways. And I think Ticunia also going sideways, or maybe a little bit shocked by that fact, also going wide. Right now in P6, Eskimo losing a few positions. And a little bit of chaos here at the back. People are going left and right and trying to overtake each other, and we already have blue flags, and I think that's Scientist. He's a little bit far behind all the other guys. Maybe he spun. But we have Yo at the moment in P1. Walterby already up to P2. So he's wasting no time to get the full amount of points here. His teammate Rob also 4 places up to P5. So Alpine with a pretty good job here at the start at the Grand Prix of the USA. And someone's going down the order. I think that's Corleone. He must have had a moment going down a few positions. Jaden already up 6 positions up to P9 from P15. So it's a pretty good start here. Walterby is overtaking Yor now on the long straight. Oh, he's cutting his line off, but no touchy going on. So pretty cool by Walter. And very, very important, because in the rain you don't have any DRS, which means you almost can't overtake. You have to have a very good slipstream. Everything has to work for you. And we have another yellow flag. I think that's Rawson in the McLaren in P15 at the moment. He's behind Scientist now. He had a moment there in the second sector, and he's having another moment, I think. Oh no, it's your funny bot in the Alfa Romeo. He had a moment coming up to the last corner, and I think he's going straight into the pits for a wing change maybe. That's pretty unfortunate for him, because he was already up a few places. He was up to the midfield positions, but yeah, that means that Jaden gains another position, and he's up to P7 now. Very bad start by Casto, who went down from P7 at the start down to P9. Not good for his championship aspirations. He has to finish ahead of Jaden and Walter to gain some places, or to gain at least some points. But you never know. We're in the rain. It's a long fucking race. You never know what happens. You also don't know if one of these guys is deciding to stop for fresh enters, especially if you have the pace around here. You can do like 8 or 9 laps on these inters, get a good gap of maybe 15 seconds, stop for fresh inters and attack the field again, or you can just stay out and defend on old intermediates. But of course you don't need to do the stop, it's not necessary. Rob is trying to overtake Eskimo, going around the outside here after the long straight, and up to P4 for him. So he's trying to follow his teammate Jaden up to P6. He's trying to attack Eskimo ASAP so he can get another position on Castro. Castro's going down again. He's down to P11 now. Absolute nightmare for him. Acuna losing more positions here. And he has damage. He has damage to his wing, the left side. And now, oh, he's moving into the Red Bull of Castor, I think that was, who was staying there on the inside, and Acuna wanted to pit. But of course, if you try to enter the pits, you have to be careful who's on your inside. Unfortunately, you then have to slow down and wait for the car to go. You can't push it into the pits. Fortunately, it didn't happen. What did happen is the overtake of Jaden against Eskimo, which means he's up to P5 now, and Eskimo down to P6, and Jaden now 10 positions up. He started last, he's up to P5, and he's only half a second behind Spoon. Walterby in P1 already has a 2-second gap to Yor, which is pretty comfortable for him. And Rob is in P3. He overtook Spooner. We didn't catch that, unfortunately. So Rob up to P3. The Alpines having a very, very big race at the moment to score a lot of points in the Constructors' Championship, because Jaden in the AlphaTauri right now is the only one who's able to score for AlphaTauri. And AlphaTauri is only 8 points behind the Alpine team. Castelnau up 2 positions, P9, of course, with a 3-second time penalty, as we've seen a few seconds ago. He's in the big train behind Chapati and Chappie, who's in P7. Oh, and Chapati just says goodbye, see you later boys, I'm taking a little picnic on the grass. Down to P12 for him. His teammate coming very close now because of that little trip. That means Castor up to P8, and he has now Chappie ahead of him. but a very impatient Moshe behind him is trying to gain time here, and as you can see, Rob is the fastest car on track at the moment. And what we also can see is that Yor gained around a second on the last lap. He's only 1 second behind Walterby now. Rob is also gaining on Spooner here. So Jaden is on a run. He's absolutely flying at the moment. Gained 11 positions already, up to P4. Rob in front of him. Yor in P2, Walterby P1. The biggest losers right now, just because of the starting, the grid position, and the actual position now is, of course, Dacunia, who lost 13 positions from P1 down to P14, and Moshe, who lost 6 positions. But nothing's over yet. We still have rain, and we again have yellow flags, and I think that's Corleone, who lost his car and positions to both McLarens. That means Corleone down to P13. Rob is coming closer to Yor now. The gap went down by 2 tenths, and Yor himself lost 3 tenths to Walterby, and we have yellow flags again. I think that's Casto, who lost positions again. He gained positions, he lost them, then he gained them again, and now he loses them again. Consistency is key when you're fighting for a championship. A very boring and annoying sentence, but it's fucking true. So you just have to nail it. You have to get that car on track, and you have to stay on track, otherwise you can throw it in the bin. Walterby with the fastest lap now, followed by Chappie now. He's got some pace, and he's in P7, only 6 tenths now behind Spooner. So maybe there's a gap. Oh, it just opened in here, and what opened there was the back of Spooner, which was attacked by Chappie here, who bumped into the rear of Spooner. The front 4 unchanged for the moment. Still Walterby in P1, followed by York, Rob, Jaden, Eskimo, still P5 under attack from Spooner and Chappie. Surprised that on lap 5 of 14 we only have 2 penalties at the moment. One for Casto and one for Yafonibot. I was pretty sure that we would have a little bit more, and maybe also a little bit more crashes, but that speaks for the league and for the drivers, for their fairness and awareness. So very good to see. Of course, for the audience, not as enjoyable and entertaining as some of you may wish. Chappie and Spooner, I think, had a little moment here. Chappie gained the 6th position. Spooner lost 1, down to P7, and he's now 2 seconds behind Chappie. So there must have been something. And Spooner's car seems very unstable. Let's see if he was just struggling under to see, or if he maybe has damage to his front wing or his rear. Maybe he has rear wing damage or something. I can't see that at the moment. Yeah, he's letting people by, so he must have damage. There must be some damage to his car. Let's see if we can see something. Nothing to see here on the rear wing. The front wing looks okay. Maybe diffuser damage. Who knows? Just speculation, of course, but Spooner lost a few positions here, and he's losing time to the cars in front of him. Very, very unfortunate. Wasn't a very good position. The front 4 still unchanged, and we're jumping inboard with Jane now, who's only 1.5 tenths behind Rob, coming up to the hairpin after the long straight. Rob deciding to block the inside, going into the racing line again. No touching going on here. Good pace by Walter, who increased the gap up to 2.8 seconds for the moment. Castor overtaking Chapati for P10. And Jaden waiting patiently for Rob or Yor doing a mistake. Chapati 3 seconds now. And you can see in the rain that people are taking different lines, trying to find the grip anywhere on track. Corleone also with 3 seconds now. And Jaden with a good launch. He's using his ERS, trying to go down the inside against Rob. He's braking a little bit later. Let's see if he can make it down the inside. It looks very good. Rob on the outside now. Oh, he's bumping into Jaden, and Jaden into the wall. Rob lost his car on traction, bumped into Jaden, and he had to crash into the wall on the left side, and he's losing a lot of positions here. 4 at the moment. Let's see if he has damage. We can't see damage, but that doesn't mean that there is damage. Jaden down to P9 now. And that is very, very, very unfortunate, because the Alpines and AlphaTauri are fighting for the Constructors' Championship, and Jaden and Walter B are fighting for the Drivers' Championship, and that helps Walter B a lot in the Drivers' Championship. So let's see what the outcome of this will be at the end of the day. But for the moment, that means Jaden P8, Rob P3, and Eskimo gaining a position, but Chappie is very close behind. Tried to get P4 from him now. Trying everything to gain another position. He has a Moshe behind, but almost 2 seconds. And we're just on lap 7 of 14 at the end of lap 7, of course. So how done? I think some of them wish to end it a little bit earlier, as you say. It's not everyone's favorite track, and as you can see, Eskimo is having a little mistake here and losing that position to Chappie. Not a good exit by him, not a good entry into the corner. It all resulted in him going wide and losing the position to Chappie. As you can see there, Chappie's taking more of an inside line, Eskimo more of an outside line, but the gap is not changing, so you can take different lines here, especially in the rain, to stay ahead, to gain a position to attack someone. And Moshe is now very close behind Eskimo. Castro with another 3-second time penalty, and Moshe has now closed the gap to P4 and 5 in his Ferrari. He has Scientist behind just 1 second, and Jaden waiting behind Scientist to gain P7 for him. Let's see if he tries to overtake Scientist into the hard braking zone. But first you have to have a good exit here. His exit isn't bad. He has enough ERS. Scientist too. Let's see what Jaden is going to do. He's faking down the inside. Scientist is trying to defend that position, and he does so. So the train continues. Eskimo followed by Moshe, Scientist, Jaden, and Casto around 1.5 behind. We're switching to Moshe because he's very, very close behind Scientist. Behind Eskimo, sorry. Showing himself on the outside here. Eskimo switching lines. Ooh, that was close. Chappie 3 seconds. And that could cost him maybe, but Eskimo still in P5, taking that corner a little bit better than the last time out. And we are on lap 9 of 14. Moshe too far away to start an attack or overtake here. Oh, he's diving down the inside. That wasn't too clever, as we could see. A very unfortunate moment for Moshe. He saw that Eskimo braked a little bit early, or he maybe braked a little bit late, which resulted in him trying to go down the inside to not touch Eskimo. Then he touched his rear tire, and that was it for Moshe. He's down to P11 now. We're switching now to Jaden, who successfully overtook Scientist. He's up to P6 now, and he's trying to overtake Eskimo now for P5 for damage limitation. And maybe he's able to catch Chappie. We will see. Chappie, of course, with a 30-second time penalty, which cost him, or could cost him, a lot. Jane only 2/10 behind Eskimo, not using any ERS now. Let's see if he can brake a little bit later. Just a tiny bit. I can't make use of that. Eskimo defending the position here. Switching back to another camera angle to watch that battle a little bit closer here. Eskimo trying to defend that position desperately. Jane just waiting for his moment. Very close now behind Eskimo. Using ERS, the slipstream going now, showing himself down the inside. Let's see if Eskimo defends that position. He's leaving him enough space on the inside. Very fair and clean battle. Jane on the outside. And he's letting Eskimo go because Eskimo had the racing line. Here we have yellow flags in sector 1, and that's maybe Castor, who lost the position against Spooner. I don't know, I can't see it at the moment. Oh yeah, absolute nightmare for Castor in this race. Gaining, losing, and yeah, maybe it's not his track, maybe it's not his weather. He knows best, of course, but Jane, I think, is now getting a little bit impatient. He wants to overtake Eskimo. He needs to use his ERS now to do so. Eskimo still has enough ERS left to defend himself here. And maybe Jane is going for it now. He's side by side with Eskimo, and he's overtaking him down the inside. Eskimo trying to switch back, not doable for the moment. Scientist only a few tens behind these two guys. So Jaden up to P5, Eskimo P6, and Scientist P7 in his Williams. Chapati with a 3-second time penalty, and Jaden is 5.2 behind Chappie, who has a 3-second time penalty. And we are on lap 11 of 14 now, which means 4 laps to go. Chapati losing his position P11 to Moshe. And Jaden has now the chance to cut that gap down by 1.8 seconds to catch Chappie on penalties. Beautiful camera angle here around the S's of the US, and they 30 seconds again for Casto, so the nightmare continues for him, unfortunately. 9 seconds to his name now, I think. Let's see if that's true. Oh, it's 12 already. Sorry for the wrong number. It's 12, so pretty horrible, to say the least. Everyone still on their intermediates, only Vicuña, Funnybot and Chapati have fit it. 30 seconds for Vicuña. Yellow flag, sector 2. Don't know who that was, maybe just a little trip off track. Castro gained a position against Spooner, I think. Castro up to P8. Spooner now P9. But we're staying here with Scientist and Eskimo. This is a very close battle. Oh, we have another close battle. It's Chappie against Rob. So Chappie is working his way up, and Jaden is with him here. Jaden only 2 seconds behind Chappie, so Jaden could get closer to these guys and maybe overtake Chappie and Rob. Let's see what Chappie is doing. But we have yellow flags in sector 3. It's a Mercedes. I think that's Spooner. That must be Spooner. He's losing positions down to P11 now. And a 3-second time penalty for Spooner. So the penalties are coming in now. Spooner pitting, so maybe he has damage. Chappie very close behind Rob, and that gives Jaden the chance to get closer and closer. And Rob now also with the penalty. So Jaden doesn't even need to hurry up. He can just stay behind these two and still get P3. Oh, what a catch by him to stay on track. And Jaden only 1.2 seconds behind Chappie now. So it's getting hot and spicy here around the USA. Spooner on soft tyres. I was wondering why the track is wet, but it doesn't seem to rain anymore. So maybe he has something special up his sleeve. Oh, someone else going on softs. What's Spooner doing on these softs? Let's watch. Oh, it's not looking too good, but you never know. Watching back the battle between Rob, Chappie and Jaden. It's still pretty wet on track, although it's not raining anymore, I think. Or maybe it is raining a little bit, but I don't know if the soft tire right now is the better choice, but we'll find out at the end of the race. So let's just sit back and enjoy. For Rob and Chappie, they can't sit back and enjoy. They have to fight, and Jaden is going for it at the moment. Inside of Chappie, using his ERS, already overtaking him. Jumping on the onboard with Chappie. There's now Jaden down his inside, both leaving enough room, and Jaden wants to get that position. He has it. P4 for Jaden, P5 for Chappie. Now Jaden is coming for Rob, and they had that fight a few laps ago when Rob, not decided to, but when Rob's car was getting all loosey-goosey around here and crashing into Jaden, leaving him behind. And DRS is enabled. So when DRS is enabled, it's normally the sign that dry tires could be a good choice, but the track still seems too wet. The track is not drying up. The sun is now out, the track is not drying up, and Spooner is not gaining any time on Corleone. So yeah, not good at the moment, but what's good at the moment is Jaden against Rob down the inside after the long straight, down the hairpin. P3 Jaden on track. He's not taking any prisoners here. P3 for him. Fantastic drive. Beautiful recovery after falling back down to P8 or 9 it was. And getting back up to P3, overtaking Rob. Let's see. The track doesn't seem very wet at the moment. It seems like it's drying out a bit, and Spooner gained 2 positions on Corleone. So maybe Spooner can make that last lap work and gain a few places, but he has to push very, very, very hard. But Walterby still in P1, driving a beautiful, solid race. 6 seconds ahead of Yor in his Ferrari, followed by Jaden. Rob P4, Chappie P5, and Rob and Chappie are still fighting for it, and Chappie almost lost it. He's running wide a little bit onto the grass. Good for him that Eskimo was a few seconds behind. Castor up to P7, he gained the position against Scientist, so he's doing a little bit of damage limitation. And right now, the track seems still a little moist. So not very good for softs, but Spooner's gaining a few seconds. I think it won't be enough at the end for Spooner to get more than 1 position maybe against his teammate. But at least he tried to go for it. But yeah, now the gaps are pretty big. Only Castor here, a few tenths behind Eskimo. Castor has more ERS, and of course he has the DRS. Because that's enabled. He's going down the inside, side by side with Eskimo. They're leaving each other enough room. Castor trying to go around the outside. Eskimo leaving just enough space. But Castor backing off to maybe get him in another position. Only half a lap to go. We jump into Walterby, who's crossing the line any second to win the Grand Prix of the US. Jaden will finish in P3 behind Yor in P2. We're jumping back to Eskimo and Castor for their battle. Rob will finish in P4 3-second time penalty for Scientist. Chappie P5, Eskimo will cross the line in P6. Castle P7, P8 already down because of penalties. Rawsome is coming around the last corner in his McLaren, jumping up to P8. Casto P9, P10 because Mosha also overtook him. And then comes D'Cunha in P11, Euphonibot P12. Corleone, last corner. Spooner wasn't able to catch him, of course. His car was the quickest now. He sets the fastest lap. Also just a little bit of damage limitation, getting a few points for P13. And the fastest lap, Corleone P... Oh, he overtook Corleone because of penalties, I think. So Spooner P13, Corleone P14, Chapati P15. He's in the last sector now. Penultimate corner. Coming up to the last corner now to cross the finish line in P15, which means we have absolutely zero DNFs around here in mixed conditions around the circuit of the Americas. Jaden getting the drive of the day by Codemasters for his drive from P15 up to P3. Walter B, your winner of today's race, your P2, Jaden P3. Talking of drive of the day, everyone on Discord in the Scientist Reverse Grid League has the chance to vote for their personal drive of the day. Very easy to manage. We have a special section for that. Just feel free to vote for your personal driver of the day. It doesn't have to be the Codemasters driver of the day. Feel free to vote, because that driver of the day from you, voted by you, gets an additional point. So that's it for the USA. Walter B finishing this race in P1, followed by your Jaden, Rob Chappie, Eskimo P6, Scientist P7, Rawsome, Mosha Casto, D'Cunha P11, Euphonibob P12, Spooner P13, Corleone P14, and Chapati P15. We're just doing a screenshot of the grid because we need that for the next race, of course. Thank you all for joining. We will set up another stream, a second stream for the second race around Zandvoort. So this stream will close now. If you're not able to jump on the next stream, then I wish you a very nice weekend. Stay healthy and see you next week. But if you're still on, just change the streams. The second one will be up in around 10 minutes.